Hello, I am Rachel. I am an actress, an artist, and a storyteller. I also have dyspraxia, Dyspraxia. That's really difficult to sign quickly. It's International Disabilities Day, and this year their theme is Not All Disabilities Are Visible, which is sometimes referred to as a hidden disability. I'm really excited that I was asked to do this vlog post for what's coming out of the box and to talk about having a hidden disability and working in the arts. So a small disclaimer before I start. I will say that though I have a hidden disability, I'm not speaking on behalf of all people who identify as having a hidden disability, particularly as our experiences are unique to us and it varies from person to person. I guess what I'm saying is take this as an insight from one person based on their individual experiences. So for people who aren't too familiar, what is a hidden disability? A hidden disability is something where you might not right away perceive someone as having a disability because it might not present itself in a telling way that people are commonly aware of. Disabilities that regularly sort of fall under this are a lot of the neurodiverse ones, such as autism, dyspraxia, ADHD, dyslexia, dyscalculia, amongst others. That's just a few that you might be aware of already. When having a disability that's not clear upon sight, it can sometimes be really tricky to navigate your social and working life. And that's because people can sometimes be quick to judge you if you act in a certain way, or if you struggle with something and they don't know that you're struggling for a reason and that there's a reason behind it. But sometimes you don't want to disclose that you have a disability, particularly if you've ever felt patronised in the past. I know that I have when I've said that I have a certain disability. And then people kind of go over the top with it, or they try and start doing things for you, and that's not what we're here to do. That's not what we want. We just want an awareness, and yeah. So my hidden disability is dyspraxia. It's a learning difficulty that comes under the neurodiverse umbrella. And it means that I have trouble with a few things. I have trouble with coordination, organisation, my speech and audio processing, and there's some sensory processing things there too. And that's just like a very roundabout, quick way of explaining it. It probably seems like working in the arts could be quite a challenge. I need to be able to speak clearly and be understood. I need to process directions given to me. I need to be coordinated, especially if I'm doing things like physical theatre or puppetry, which I have been doing recently. And I have to deal with things like bright lights, costumes that might be a bit uncomfortable. It's not totally impossible because, like any form of work, the arts should be accessible. I have various ways that I cope with my dyspraxia, which means that I'm able to do what I love doing. But that also came with working with theatre companies who have great communication and openness to try things that are a bit different or try things a different way. This could be small things, like a theatre company that I work with set up an invoicing system that works for both me and the company. To other things like addressing how I move and working with it rather than against it. I also have my own coping mechanisms, so at the moment with this vlog I've actually got an auto prompt. I've written everything down that I want to say and I'm using it at my own pace so that my speech doesn't get too muddled. And with my movement and stuff, there are things that I do to cope with that too. In fact, one of my favourite exercises that I did with what's coming out of the box was walking around the room and just being aware of the way that I move my body naturally, and then slowly emphasizing certain parts, so the way that I move my hands, the way that my legs move, to way beyond the ridiculous, so it was almost clowning, and then bringing it back down again. And in the end, it informed the way that my character moved for Inside. And it used movements that it wasn't so beyond what I'm comfortable with doing naturally. One of those things actually was walking on tiptoe, which I do a lot when I don't wear shoes. So what if you wanted to make your practice more inclusive? It's a really big question that nobody has one answer to or the answer to. But the thing that I will say as starting is just assuming that everyone is a human being who have strengths and have things that they might find more challenging. And regardless of whether it's because of a hidden disability, any disability, or nothing at all, we should be having conversations with each other and making things accessible for each individual, for everybody. I mean, that's part of living, right? When I was confident, that's me spinning my words around. When I was confident enough to talk about my dyspraxia to my employers, it really helped them realise that there were things that they were assuming about me before that were really misguided. And once they realised that, they were able to make some changes. And for some employers, they actually decided that it was worth them having a conversation with their whole team to find out if there was anything that needed to change so that it was accessible for everybody, disability or not. That was a really nice thing to hear, that, you know, my conversation changed the way that somebody practiced in their company. When people talk about making things accessible, for people with disabilities, a lot of people imagine the extreme and they think about, you know, having to change whole building structures or spend loads of money to make changes, but that's often not the case at all. I mean, of course, we should be having things like ramps anyway and braille on our signs, but for the most part, accessibility just means better communication and changing the smallest of things. Give me time to process and repeat an instruction to clarify what I'm doing, or let me write something down so I better remember it. Write a description in your Instagram image so that people who need image description, they can access your content, and then you've opened a whole new audience up for you. And most of all, be open and listen, because that's important too. Open and listen, and you'll find that you'll make tiny changes along the way that will open your audience, but also open the huge pool of artists that you can work with. And that's kind of it, really, I guess. There's no other answer for it. So usually I would ramble on for a lot longer. I've kept this video really short. Usually I take the scenic route around with my conversations, but I wrote it all down and shortened it. So I'm just going to say thank you for watching my little video. And please do keep an eye on what Coming Out of the Box is doing, because it's really exciting and I can't wait to share it with you. I used a little bit of sign today, and I'm sorry that I didn't do it for the whole thing, and that's because one thing for me is having to concentrate and read and sign at the same time is still something that I'm learning and working on. So I have put captions as well for you. I really hope that you are just staying safe and that you're having a really, really good day. And I will speak to you soon. Just watch this space. Bye.